Jacqueline Smith here, CEO and founder of the Jacqueline Smith Foundation. This is our master instructor, retired veteran, Mr. Chris Ship.
So, hey, folks.
We're so excited to be on this morning. Thank you, Ms. Anna, for inviting us out. We're super excited to participate in this year's Accessibility Fest. So, with the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, I'm going to share our screen with you all to let you know what resources that we provide. So we are the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, and we're proudly assisting active military and veterans. And just like Anna said, we believe that no veteran that fought for our country should be homeless or without resources. So our mission is to empower our military men and women by equipping them with resources needed to maintain and sustain in our community. We offer a free navigation of veteran resource class. This class is offered every second and fourth Thursday of the month at 10 a.m. All classes are via Zoom right now, so in regards to COVID. So this class is offered every second and fourth Thursday of the month from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. If you follow our social media outlet, the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, we always post our upcoming events, classes, and things of that nature right on the website and on our social media. We also offer a free financial literacy class, and these classes are open to the public as well as veterans. We teach you to budget, to save, and to learn to invest. And the financial literacy classes, these are offered every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. We just incorporated a mental health outreach program. That class is every first and third Thursday of the month, where you learn positive ways to cope with anxiety, depression, and PTSD. This class is offered from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. every first and third Thursday of the month. The benefit of this class is that we have licensed counselors and therapists on the calls. So once we're done with the information, they will present, and you're able to talk to a therapist or a counselor right on the spot. So that's a great thing. We're super excited about our mental health outreach program. Yeah. We also offer free headshots for active military and veterans. We have extended this to spouses as well. The free headshots are every Monday from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. at 8209 Rough Rider Drive, Suite 100D, here in Windcrest, Texas, and that zip code there is 78239. So like I said, this service is also extended to spouses. I had one spouse call me, and she says, is this service extended to spouses? I say, yes, ma'am. If you're with your husband or wife and they're in the service, then you're serving too, girl. Let's do it. So this is our contact information. It's the Jacqueline Smith Foundation. We're located at P.O. Box 17401, San Antonio, Texas 78217. Our contact information is 210-646-8408. Our website is thejsmithfoundation.org, and our email is outreach@thejsmithfoundation.org. Any of those, you just reach out to us with any questions or concerns that you may have. On the website, if you're interested in any classes, or if you teach, if you're a military organization and you service veterans, they're able to go to the website and you can sign up for the classes right there as well. The headshots and everything, you can book your appointments right on the website. So that's the perk of the internet. So we're super excited to be able to offer these services. So we'll jump into our veteran resources here. And so the question becomes, why are so many veterans homeless or without resources? This is a huge thing. So when we was doing research, what I found out is that the majority of the veterans are without resources or homeless because they either do not know what resources are available to them, or they don't know how to tap into those resources. So that's really big. So we have a lot of homeless individuals just throughout the country, not just Texas, but throughout the country, period. Homeless veterans, the reason why veterans are homeless, a couple of things. There's a lingering effects of PTSD, their post-traumatic stress disorder, drug and alcohol abuse problems. A lot of the programs that you have to qualify to get help, they make you go to AA classes, they make you go to substance abuse classes, and a lot of them, they don't want that structure. So sometimes that's a problem. Combat-related physical or mental illnesses, lack of family and social support. Social support is huge, and that's with anything. You have to have individuals that are there to help you and support you along the way. If not, the journey becomes very hard, and then we lose a lot of veterans with suicidal tendencies just because they don't have that support or someone to tell them, hey, it's going to be okay, or you got this, because it really makes a difference. And then there's a severe shortage of affordable housing, livable income, and access to health care. All three of those things are massive. So the shortage of affordable housing, sometimes their checks are not that much. Most of them get from $500 to $700, and you just can't really find a reasonable place to live for $500 to $700. Most places start at $800 or $1,000, so that becomes a problem. 93% of the homeless veterans populations are males, and 56% of all homeless veterans are African Americans and Hispanic. That is huge. There's 196,000 veterans that are homeless on any given night, and then 7,000 female war veterans in the U.S. are homeless, double the number of decade age. So there's 7,000 individuals, 7,000 female war veterans. Those are huge statistics, everyone. So the fastest growing segment of homeless veterans are women and children, and the biggest problem is that a lot of the homeless shelters for veterans do not accept women. Another thing is, most of it is you can only accept the veteran. They do not accept the children. So that is huge. And what parent, what mother or father is going to come to a shelter and then not bring their kiddo? So what am I going to do? I'm going to stay at home or stay in the streets because I'd rather be with my kiddo than to separate from my child. So that's a hard decision to make, just to be able to get assistance. So that's really huge. And it really plays a big factor. So not being able to be with your child or getting services, a lot of people, and I'm a mother of 3 myself, so I would choose to stay with my child as well. So that presents a big problem. So why are veterans taking advantage of the resources that are available? So the veterans qualify for so many services through the VA. And when we were starting the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, so if the VA offers so many free services, why are there so many veterans going without or that don't have resources? So most of them, like we said, they don't know what resources are available, or they don't know how to tap into those resources. So the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, that's where we step into play. So we let you know available resources through our classes that we offer all through the month, because there's several classes offered all through the month. And so we let you know what resources are available on our navigation of veteran resource classes. We have other military organizations that are actually on those calls. So those military organizations, they come in, they tell you about the resources that they have available. So you're able to book an appointment right then with those individuals that are in our community, if that's a service that you need. Also, we have individuals that are looking to hire veterans that are on those calls, so that creates a job. If you happen to be on the call and you're in need of work, you'll be able to do that. So we're trying to be a junction point, so to speak. We're trying to connect individuals with the people that they are needing to connect with. So by having those individuals on the call, this helps you tap directly into those resources. You don't have to call around. You don't have to look. You have access to someone at that time. So we want to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That's a big thing, because you're worried about, oh, I was in the military, I served 30 years, I got this, and you just kind of wait. So time waits for no one, and then things are steadily spiraling out of control. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And then they don't want to wait at the VA for several hours. It's saturated. Even to get an appointment, they're 2 to 3 months out. So if you go into the VA, you have to sit there all day to figure out what you're going to do, or just to get assistance, or just for them to tell you, send you to their website. So you've been at the VA for 4 hours for them to send you to their website or give you a form to take home and fill out. And that's another thing where the Jacqueline Smith Foundation comes into play. We're able to sit down one-on-one with you, walk you through the paperwork, and call any places that you need to call. So we have that personal ability there. We're all able to offer that one-on-one. A lot of the veterans, they don't have their DD-214, it's not on file, or they don't have an ID. And so with the DD-214 or your ID, you have to have those to get any services as a veteran. So we're working on being able to offer the service of helping them get access to their DD-214. We partner with Bexar County Clerk Lucy Adame Clark, and she have the mobile unit. So they offer free, 2 free certifications, 2 free certified copies of your DD-214. So we're super excited to be able to work with Miss Lucy Adame Clark there. So that's going to be huge. And then they can't complete the forms themselves. So like I said, we're able to help fill out those forms, point you in the right direction, and help you to be able to make that process a little easier. So I've had veterans that said they went to the VA, and once going to the VA, they come out more frustrated than when they went there. So you're going for help assistance. Maybe you're 60% disabled and you think you should be at 100. Well, you went in, you really didn't get anything anything accomplished. You sent your paperwork in. It's 2-3 months. You haven't heard from anyone, and then when you go, they deny you again. That's super frustrating. So on our board, we have an individual that actually works for the VA, our director of community outreach. So we're able to talk to you directly and assist you directly with something that you might have going on. So that's another perk that we're super excited about. So a couple of numbers here. There's specialized helplines for veterans and their families. You can also find help through these websites and toll-free numbers. So one number is a Combat Veterans Hotline. That's 1-877-WAR-VETS. The combat vets can talk to fellow combat veterans, and then the line is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's huge. So you can call in at any time. You can let your veterans know that they can call in at any time. We also have the National Call Center for Homeless Veterans, and that's 1-877-48-VET. So that's 1-877-424-3838. The Women's Veteran Call Center, 1-855-VA-WOMEN, and that's real big, going back to that situation we have with the female and her child. So you're able to go, and talk to someone, and they can point you to a shelter that accepts both. That accepts the whole family. So that's a great resource. And then we have the VA Caregiver Support Line. This is real big because a lot of times there's caregiver burnout. People are super frustrated and they don't know what to do. And the VA also has a veteran aid and attendance. And this is offered to a veteran, and it's free. It's more money that you can get to have a caregiver come in and perform services for you. A lot of individuals don't know about it, but it is available, the veteran aid and attendance. And it doesn't affect the money that you're already receiving. This is in addition to. So that's a great resource as well. And that number is 1-855-260-3274. So now, how do we obtain resources available to you? It's very hard to get through to the VA. You'll be denied several times. You'll be denied. So you have to be consistent. So never be afraid to ask for help. Be consistent and fight for what's yours because you've earned it. So be proud to be a veteran. That's my presentation that I have for our navigation of veteran resource classes. I'm going to click back over and let Mr. Ship take over here. But before I give it to Mr. Ship, does anyone have any questions over the things that I just presented?
So we've had a few questions come in through the app. If you don't mind if I read those real fast.
Absolutely.
All right. Do you feel that certain benefits are underutilized or not as well known?
Do you feel that some benefits are underutilized or not well known?
Yes, that is the question.
Yes, and there's a lot of benefits that are not well known, and the VA are not going to come out and tell you just specifically those things. Mr. Ship, I'll let you answer that. Being a veteran yourself, what do you think about that question?
I think you're right on track, Jackie. There's a lot of information we just, as veterans, we're not privy to, because it's not being openly shared. And so a lot of times you end up asking questions based on the fact that you have a need, and it's only at that time that you find out that there is a resource available to help out with that need. So yeah, there's a lot of help out there we're just not familiar with, because the information is not given to us. So we end up finding out by different programs to other veterans to help give a solution as far as an agency that'll help us out with. Great question, though.
We have another question that came in. What is the biggest challenge veterans face? And then what are the opportunities to make it better?
The biggest things that I've found, and Chris, you probably have a perspective on this as well. The biggest thing that we found when interviewing veterans is housing and transportation. Housing and transportation are the two hugest needs, and that's throughout the country. That's just nationwide. So not having access to those or not having it's kind of like a domino effect. Because I came into the country, or I PCS, and I didn't have anything, I didn't have a plan set up. So now when I came in, I didn't have any family to stay with. I haven't been saving my money properly while I was active military. And so now I come home and I don't have anything to come home to. I can stay with a family member for 2 weeks or so, but then everyone has their own problems going on and they can't afford to take care of you. You don't have anywhere else to go. So then you're living in your car until you get it together. And so now you're hungry and you're doing different things. So it's just a domino effect. Different things take place. And what was the second part of the question?
Sure. What are some of the opportunities to make it better?
Well, the opportunities from my standpoint is San Antonio is a great community. San Antonio has several nonprofit organizations that are just fabulous. They're offering all kinds of services to veterans. The only thing is you have to find out about those services. If you don't know that Project Men is a nonprofit organization that offers free DME equipment to veterans, then you just don't know. If you don't know that San Antonio Threads offer free clothing to youth, you just don't know. So the thing is, you just have to find out what's there and then tap into those resources. There's several resources available, just finding out about those resources. That's why we share so much information. We partner with so many different individuals so we can get that information out, just kind of helping veterans. So it lessens the legwork for those veterans. We try to share those things that are available. So if you can go to the Jacqueline Smith Foundation, our social media page, we just put out random information that does not pertain to our organization, but other organizations that we think will be a benefit as well. So we're just constantly sharing information, hopefully just to kind of help someone out there and point them in the right direction. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, my take on it is that as veterans, we're used to having a lot of structure in the military.
Mm-hmm.
You're used to having a structure and people directing you to this is what you need to do next type of environment. When you get into the civilian world, it's not like that though. So you kind of have to find your way, so to speak. And one way to do that, of course, is tap into the different agencies that are available. And this shared resources, navigation of shared resources course is a great tool to help navigate, find out what's available out there. And then the other thing I find out is the tempo of the civilian world versus the military world is different.
Uh-huh.
And so you have to adjust your tempo, your actions, your activity to match up with your environment. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of veterans have a challenge with, is making that happen.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's huge. Any other questions? Or do you feel that we've answered that question?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Let me refresh our questions.
Okay.
I don't see any more questions. Do any of those attending, would they like to chat in the Q&A, or if you have the option to raise your hand, we would be more than happy to take any additional questions. So when you need to play that Jeopardy music,
I know, right? Okay, well, if you guys have questions, feel free to put those in. That's what we're here for. We're here to help. I am not a veteran, but my father is a veteran, or my father was a veteran. He's deceased right now. He was an Army veteran, and he was medically discharged. He came home. He was schizophrenic. He had PTSD. As a child growing up, he went to the VA, and they had him on so many different medications. He slept for probably about 2 years. The only thing he did was sleep. And he was on the couch, and I was like, Dad, why are you always sleeping all the time? And he's like, I don't know, sweetheart. He called me pumpkin or pudding. I don't know. He said, I'm just so tired. I just don't have the energy to do anything. I would ask him, do you want to go for a walk? Do you want to do something? And he would just say no. And so eventually he just started to take himself off the medicine, few things at a time, lessen the dosage and things of that nature. And in about 3 months, he was a total different person. He was off the couch. He shaved. He was bathing every day. He ended up moving to San Diego, California, which is where he passed away at. I mean, he was just a different person. And that's kind of some of the things that take place. The VA industry is so saturated. Whenever you go to the VA, and they hear different things. Oh, PTSD. Okay, let's get a prescription for that. Oh, mental health. Let's get a prescription for that. And so they really don't have time. And some of you actually have great doctors that want to perform great care, but because the industry is so saturated and you have so many individuals to see in a day, there's no way that I can go in, look you in your eyes, ask you what's wrong with you, and stay 30 to 45 minutes or even an hour in the room with you, because I know I have so many other individuals that are waiting. And so that's the difference with the nonprofit and a smaller organization such as ourselves. You're able to kind of get that one-on-one and you can get help. And when our veterans come back, they are a different person. Not every person that comes back is able to cope, maintain, and sustain. How do you think you would feel if your buddy that was right beside you was blown to pieces right while you guys were in battle?
Yeah.
You know, that's huge. That's huge to be able to deal with. You have to shoot children. You have to shoot women. You know, there's a lot of things that take place. And when you're getting ready to transition out of the military, just like Chris said, there's not a lot of structure. So we do everything to prepare you to go in for combat and to be able to do what you need to do while you're in the military. But they don't teach you to save your money, to prep for your credit score so that you can purchase a house, so you be able to utilize your VA home loan. Those things just aren't taught. There's a class that you come through, it's called TAPS, but it's so fast and it's so much information, most times you don't retain that. Yeah, most times you don't retain that. So it's just a lot that was going on. So I'm going to let Mr. Ship. Mr. Ship is our instructor. He does a great job. He's a retired veteran. We're super excited to have Mr. Ship on the team. He's going to share some things from his perspective as a veteran and then add more insight for you all as well. So you guys please welcome Mr. Ship.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Once again, I'm excited you guys joined us for our shared resources class. So I want to capitalize on that word structure, because that is the key of going from a structured environment into a total chaos environment, because you're trying to find your way in a civilian world. And I find that a lot of my fellow veterans are kind of stuck, paralyzed, whatever you want to call it, because they don't know which way to go. They're still trying to figure out what just happened. They transitioned into this fast-paced environment that we're in right now, and of course with COVID going on, I mean, it just made things a lot more challenging, you know, this year. So with all that being said, what I found is you have to create your own structure. So you're used to structure, you got to continue to live a structured lifestyle, and so you have to create your own structure. And I'm going to kind of tell you what I did and how it worked for me, and hopefully it'll help you out as well. So one of the things that happened with me is I served in the Air Force for 22 years. While I was on active duty, I was constantly connected with the civilian populace. I had a part-time job. I was in church, college courses. I did a lot of volunteer work, and I did some contract work part-time. And so I was on a regular basis, I was connected with the civilian world, and not every military person is in that same situation. So it helped me to transition is bottom line what I'm saying. And so I retired back in 2005, and I had a financial services contracting business. And so I started building clientele. I had to find my way. I knew I couldn't be in the comfort zone at all. I had to be fast paced and catch up with this tempo of this civilian world in order to be able to be successful. So some of the things that I did is I attended networking events. Now, one of the things about networking events is that you go to these events and you really don't know why you're there. Okay, you go there, you leave out, nothing happens. And so you have to strategize. What do you want to see come out of this event, this networking event? Do you want to meet people? Do you want to get business cards so that you can start creating a network of people that you can connect to? So you have to have a game plan in place when you go there in the first place. I was a real quiet guy, but I just found out just asking questions, asking people, what do you do, that type of thing, and it allows you to connect with other people, and that's a big key. So I did that, and I was always want to complete my education so that I can, position myself to get an ideal situation, job-wise, or whatever the case may be. It just helps to keep your education going. And I also worked part-time as a bus driver. This all happened after I retired. So I was doing all this because I had to get into the tempo of the civilian world. And so I was doing this all this simultaneously to try to find my way. So as I transitioned, I continued to work part-time. Actually, I ended up getting a job with TSA. I was working part-time. And then on top of that, I was working, also volunteering with Mission Continues with Soldiers Angels. And so I was constantly meeting new people and finding out possible solutions to where I was going, the direction I wanted to go in this new chapter of life. Also, I made a decision to I started doing I was doing my contracting work, so I was doing quite a bit all at one time, and it seemed chaotic. But I knew I was moving forward. I knew I wasn't I knew my situation. I wasn't in a situation where I was at a total stop. I was moving forward, and that's kind of how it is when you first start off. You can't see the end, but you know things are happening, and you want to get in that type of tempo, that type of mode where you know things are happening, you don't know what's going on, but you know you're moving forward. Uh, so it's all about devoting time to continued development, self-development, and also find some hobbies to do. I mean, so you have a little bit more time now that you're transitioning, but only in the time where you're not working and trying to find your way, find something to do hobby wise that's going to help you grow personally. I think growth is key in the civilian world. You got to grow yourself on a regular basis in order to advance. And it shows here that I was continue to go to school and that type of thing to advance myself from an education standpoint. But it's important to make that happen. Can you guys see my screen?
No, we can see you guys.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Do you want
Let
to?
us fix.
Yeah.
Yes, let us fix that here. And that's what I was asking. I was like, I don't think that they're able to see that.
Okay.
So we're going to share that with you guys.
Yeah. A lot of information y'all just.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
So did you guys see the slides earlier?
Yes, and then I switched you over.
Okay, awesome. So now you guys can see what we see.
So this is the transition that I was basically going through. It kind of explains that transition through the boxes there. But the last one was the went to school, graduated. Matter of fact, the beginning of this year from Purdue, and that whole thing there, what I majored in had nothing to do with what I did in the military, nor did it have anything to do with the business I was working in. But I wanted to do something that was going to stretch me even more, to make me more how can you say more marketable? Because you want to be marketable in the civilian world. You want to make yourself an asset to in any situation. So that's kind of what that was all about. Well, I'm glad we asked that question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the things you want to do, you want to be successful, of course. And so success is a continuous journey toward a predetermined worthwhile goal, and that comes from Tom Hopkins. So it's a continuous journey. It doesn't stop. Especially and in the military world, we pretty much know what we had to do to get promoted, and we knew that after so many years you're going to retire. Civilian world a little different. I mean, it's a continuous thing. I mean, you either growing or you're dying in the civilian world, and so you got to continue to improve yourself and move yourself forward, education wise or just self-improvement, period. Now, this slide has to do with transition, and so what we found out is that looking at folks that transition from the military, we had 6 to 21% said that it was very difficult to transition, and I think that was because just trying to find themselves and not getting into that tempo that they needed to get into to be able to move forward. And so you definitely have to understand that this is totally different. This is totally different than what I'm accustomed to in the military. So I'm going to have to change my strategies and change my movement and totally stay out of my comfort zone. And I can't tell you how long that's going to be before you get back into your comfort zone, but it's got to be, you got to be uncomfortable until you find your place. That I will say that. And so so anyway, that's one of the things that you can do to overcome that challenge of it being difficult, is just get into the right zone and you'll move forward. Also, this slide here shows that the fact that some of the folks that transitioned found that it was very easy to transition because they attended worship services. Now, there's a number of things that you could have gotten out of that worship service. You could have met people, of course, connected to the source is the key thing. I think connecting to the source is key because it helps you emotionally, mentally, know that you're not in this fight by yourself, that you got a higher source that's there working with you to get you through this process. That's what helped me. and that's still helping me right now today. I'm not where I want to be. Okay, I still plugging into the source, and so it shows here 67% said that going to church once or more a week helped them tremendously. And so if you just go to church just a little bit and tap into that source and get some direction from the source, I think that would be very helpful. And then, so you see the numbers there, 61% said once or twice a month. So we're not talking about going plugging in every day or every other day to church. We're just talking about making sure you stay plugged in and clear your mind of what's going on around you. Once again, COVID, our faith was kind of shook up, when COVID came around. And so this helps tremendously to be plugged into a source, to know that despite all this chaos that's going on, I have the source that's telling me it's going to be okay, and I'm going to move forward. So I want to encourage you to do that as well. Attend services. The other challenges, roadblocks that veterans come across is just everyday life things as an adult. The first one down at the bottom, it talks about finding a job. You know what I mean? And so that's a challenge for most people. And of course, once again, with jobs being limited like they are right now, it's not a whole lot there for you to work with. But then on the flip side of that, if you can't find a job, find something that you can do. Become self-employed for a little while if you have to. You have to stretch your mind and look at your different options. Having a job is only one option. There's other ways to make things happen. Okay, so you have to constantly talk to yourself and question yourself, what can I do next to move me forward? And that's key.
Chris, I want to jump in right there.
Yes.
Speaking of jobs there, another thing that's coming forth with the Jacqueline Smith Foundation as well is we're going to be teaching veterans, if they are interested in becoming entrepreneurs,
Yes.
you have the opportunity to become an entrepreneur. So
Yes.
we have a presentation there that we'll bring forward. And it's kind of like we're also with Primerica. So if you wanted to start your own business, that
Yes.
would be an opportunity for them to start their own business. So
Yes.
we're hoping to be able to make impacts from that aspect as well. So
Yes.
that's huge.
Yes. And so I'm excited about that, because I think for me, to be an entrepreneur, that was never part of my mindset. I never knew that I could be my own boss. I thought I had to work. I was brought up to think I had to work for somebody else. But then I found out, hey, I can be my own boss, and that gives me the opportunity to do things that I want to do, work when I want to work, make as much money as I want to. So that kind of was exciting to me, and so that's why I'm still doing that.
Yeah, and then you have the opportunity to create jobs for others.
There you go.
So to be able to help it expand. So that's awesome.
That's awesome. So just look at your options. So, and also, we already mentioned this one. The second one down, talk about navigating system of veterans benefits. Like we said, this shared resources, this navigation of resources course that we do with the Jacqueline Smith Foundation helps get through that process. And we're even beefing that up even more to try to make it more of a easy move, an easy transition for veterans. But I would say to reach out to us, and we can help direct you in a direction that you need to go. If you get stuck somewhere and need some help with something, we might be able to help you out with that. Figuring out what's next is the other thing. You constantly have to. For me, I plan my year out. You want to plan your year out. You want to plan your 2 years out. Where do you want to be 3 years, 5 years from now? You have to plan that out, because you don't want to just be going through life with no direction whatsoever. So once again, us coming from that structure where somebody told us we was going to do a certain thing, now we got to tell ourselves we're going to do a certain thing. So we have to have those plans drawn out so we know where we're going next. The next one talks about relating to non-veteran civilians, and that's all about just getting to know people. Like I mentioned earlier, when you go to these networking events, you want to ask questions, find out about people, and then they'll in turn find out about you and understand you a little better. But you got to open up create some dialogue between you and the civilian populace in order for you to learn from them, and for them to learn how you are. And then you make that connection. That's what it's all about, making that connection. And that's what you want to push for. And so I'm going down this list here. You see these, one, finding support to handle health issues. Of course, that's one of the major challenges right now with the hospitals the way they are. you know, we get that annual visit we get the annual visit to the primary care provider every year. But sometimes you just have situations that you have to fight through, whether it's your back or whatever, knee or whatever. And all I could tell you to do is try to do your best to take care of yourself. Do yourself a favor, do you some exercise, stretching, whatever you have to do to work on yourself. I mean, every morning I get up doing stretching, because if I don't stretch, I'm not gonna, I'm, you know, my body is not what it used to be. So I understand that, okay? So you got to get it right. Once you get the body right, then you can work on your mentals and getting that right, so that you can go out each day and have some great success. And so make sure you take care of yourself. And also the last one, talking about capitalizing on training and educational opportunities. You know, there's a lot of opportunities open for veterans from an educational standpoint as well as for training. But once again, tap into them, ask questions if you have to. Don't allow yourself to be stuck in a situation because of not asking the question. The next slide talks about self-assessment. So what I believe that you have to do is do what they call life mapping. You have to find out what your current position is. Ask yourself question, where am I at right now from an educational standpoint, physical, mental, that type of thing. You want to evaluate yourself, and then also ask yourself, what do I want to be? And I talked about that a few minutes ago. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, where do you want to be? And focus on that goal on a regular basis. When do you want to arrive there? What are some of the challenges you face? I think it's important to identify the challenges up front so you can figure out how to deal with those challenges. If you're the type of person that don't feel comfortable talking with people, then you have to overcome that challenge. You know what I mean? I had to overcome the challenge in San Antonio here. One of my challenges with my business was that I didn't speak Spanish. Okay. And there's a large Spanish market here in San Antonio, and I wanted my business to grow into that market as well. I didn't want it to be to a select few, and so I taught myself how to speak Spanish. I get my listen to the CDs on speaking Spanish, and just coach myself, you know, to get better at that. Okay. And so whatever your challenge is, you have to overcome that challenge. Don't let it be a roadblock for you and stop your movement. Okay. And then the last one says, what must I do to overcome the challenge that exists? And I kind of went over that already by figuring it out, what your challenge is, and then putting the action in place to make it happen. We talked about you want to have a great life, and I think great life is all about being well-rounded. In that fact, I'm talking about your physical fitness. You want to make sure that you're constantly taking care of your health, and you're keeping your physical man strong. You want to be emotional stable. There's a book that I read by Anthony Robbins called Awakening the Giant Within, and that helped me tremendously with emotional challenges that I faced, and to control that, because emotions could take control of you and could paralyze you to the point to where you don't want to do anything. So that was one of my challenges, and I had to overcome that. So I encourage you to figure out a way to make that happen. Financial independence, I just want to live a debt-free life and be able to enjoy life, and spiritual fulfillment. But you have to focus on all these different areas of your life in order to have a successful life and to continue to move forward. And this is one of my favorite quotes, affirmation. I believe everybody needs an affirmation to speak to themselves every day. And this is my affirmation. I must do the most productive thing possible at every given moment. You say that when you wake up in the morning, and your mind is automatic. Your mind is like a computer. I mean, you put in there, you add information into it, and you program it to do what it has to do, and then it controls the rest of you. So I think you have to program yourself on a regular basis by having positive affirmations, not the negative stuff, because the negative stuff is going to come automatically.
Yeah, and I absolutely love this quote. I have Chris recite this quote all the time through our classes just to inspire somebody. When he first started teaching the classes, I was like, oh, that's it. I absolutely love that. And so sometimes you have to encourage yourself, waiting on other individuals to encourage you. Oh, you can do this, or hold your hand to walk you through something. You have to encourage yourself. And I absolutely love this 12-word commitment.
Yes. So find one that fits you, okay, and speak to yourself. Speak positive stuff to yourself. Treat yourself right. That's what it's all about.
One of the things that I have, before you continue right there, Chris, at church, our pastor has this little thing that he says, and it's printed on every piece of paperwork that goes out. And this is something that I live by. It says champions are willing to do something they hate to create something they love.
Wow.
I love it. That
That's
is
awesome.
so inspiring. So even though things may look bad, times may look bad, you just keep pressing.
Yeah.
Keep pressing, keep doing whatever it is that you need to do. And just like Martin Luther King said, if you can't crawl, if you can't run, then walk. As long as you want to do is you just want to be able to keep moving. Consistency is the key. So, and set small goals. Those small goals, if you set something that's huge, it's unrealistic, and then it puts pressure on you. And then the pressure adds to your anxiety and depression and things of that nature, because you might not think that you're moving as fast as you think that you're moving. So then that becomes a problem. So you don't see your progress. So if you sweat, it could be even your week goal. What do you plan to accomplish by Friday? For the ladies, that might be get laundry completed. Not only get laundry completed, but get it put away. We want to wash it and then get it put away. One of my friends, she'll say, we're going to wash the laundry and then fold it and put it away. That takes 3 to 5 business days. That takes 3 to 5 business days. So, no matter what the goal may be, even how small or minute that it may be, set those goals and make those attainable so that you can see your progress. Over the next 3 weeks, you might want to say that I'm going to go and buy groceries, because right now I just live day to day. So I'm going to buy groceries for the house. It could be that I'm going to get a car within the next 3 months. I'm going to work. I'm going to save money. I'm going to get a car in the next 3 months. I'm going to get my own place in the next 3 months. Whatever the case may be, set those goals and drive yourself, and then hold yourself accountable. Accountability is the key.
Yes.
Accountability is key. And then if you have something like one of my friends and I, what we do is we personally hold each other accountable. So that gives the person to say, okay, we're going to do this on this date. If it's 3 weeks from now, we're going to execute on this date. And so if you're falling behind and you say, well, hey, let's push that back, your accountability partner is going to say, no, this is the date that we need to be finished, or this is what you need to do. And it also helps if you're going, like Chris said, if you're going down, if things are spiraling out of control, you're getting that place where you can't come up from. That person can say, hey, Chris, you need to get up.
That's right.
You can do this.
Right.
You got this. You're not going to stay here.
Right.
You're not going to wallow in your own little thing that you have going on here. Let's get up. Let's go to the park. Let's go for a walk. Whatever the case may be, you have to have a strong support system.
Yes.
And as a veteran, all the things that you deal with. And so it's super important to have that support system. So, and sometimes we keep each other in line.
Yeah.
Chris teaches our financial literacy classes. And so when we budget and everything, he talks to me about that. And this is something that I always say, I like to shop. I'm a girly girl. I like to get the hair, the nails. I like to go. And so whenever I'm talking to Chris and he may ask about something, like the other day he called me and I said, oh, I went to the nail shop. I went to the hair shop. He goes, we're going to have to teach you how to budget. I was like, strike that last statement. So it really helps accountability, right? So whenever you're budgeting or you're just doing whatever it is, just holding yourself accountable, that's the main thing. Yes. Okay, Chris.
Yes, I appreciate that. Yeah, accountability is key. And so that goes back once again to doing a self-assessment. Know yourself. Know if you're the type of person that needs somebody to hold you accountable on some things. Mm-hmm. Some people can actually, believe it or not, some people can actually have the strength to hold their own self accountable. That's great, but not everybody's like that. So if you're not that person, then understand that and get help. You know what I mean? Don't try to do it alone. Use the people around you. You know Absolutely. What I mean? All great leaders surround themselves with people that's going to help them, with good people, right? Mm-hmm. And so find whoever that might be to help you move forward. Okay. So we talked about the self-assessment. Now we're talking about career suitability. And with that, you want to make sure that you, when it comes down to career, is that know what you want to, what type of profession you want to work in, because there's nothing worse than going to a job that you don't hate. That you hate. And so you want to make sure that you're in a job that is something that you like, as far as the values that it has. So the first one talks about work-related values such as prestige. If you like prestige, then of course you need to be in a job that might be sales. So you get a lot of prestige. If they sell a lot of cars or whatever the case may be, maybe that's where you need to be. Or if you like a flexible schedule, or if you like outdoors, you have to figure that out, okay, and then find a career that matches that. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find that right off the bat. Sometimes you have to step on one stone to get to the next one, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you might have to work a job for a little bit until you find that right job. Uh-huh. And so that being said, continue to find you some income, because you don't want to be stuck and broke. but continue to look out there, because there's a lot of opportunities that come open that you might be able to fit your need. You also want to consider your interests, your personality type, where you got great social traits, or your motivational, whatever it works. You know, some people don't like to be in a lot of upbeat, high tempo type of situation. So you have to determine what type of environment you want to be in. And also, lastly, we want to talk about your aptitude. We want to make sure that you first look at your natural talents, and then if there's areas that you need to strengthen yourself up in to move forward, then make that happen. Set up a game plan to make that happen so that you can grow in this new chapter that you're in. So the other thing I want to share with you guys is one of the tools that was very valuable was this veterans pamphlet number 80. Let's see if I can move this. Okay, 80-14-01. When I got my hands on a copy of this booklet, it blew me away, because a lot of the questions that veterans have is in this booklet, and you can actually call and get a copy of it. You can go online and get a copy as well. If you go to the va.gov, you can actually get a copy of this book, but it gives you a lot of information as far as agencies and resources available for veterans. Just a couple of areas that I want to bring up here. It talks about, the first one is VA health care benefits. Well, in San Antonio, you know, of course, this is Military City, USA, and so there's hospitals all over. But for those folks that are in areas where they don't have such access, then this will give you direction on that. Chapter 5 talks about educational and training. Chapter 8, burial and memorial benefits. We had a class the other day on this, and I think it's a topic that you want to take a look at between you and your loved ones, to make sure that they're aware of what's available. If something happens to you as the veteran, that they're aware of what's available to you, right? Chapter 11 talking about transition assistance, which is what we all talking about today, but there's actually a chapter that focuses on that. And so just not even knowing about this book is something that most veterans, we never get the opportunity to know that there's something out there that we can actually read, and that's a compiled information together that we can read through and get us moving forward. So I want to encourage you to get a copy of that, and it will help greatly. Lastly, I want to talk about the fact that, you know, the Jacqueline Smith Foundation is your lead resource agency concerning navigation of resources, and we have different areas that we educate on, as far as financial literacy, PTSD, anger management, mental health, and homelessness. These are all what Jackie have already talked about. VA home loans, we actually have a class that's coming up, talk about home loans. I'm actually a loan officer as well, and so we're going to give you a lot of education on home loans and the processes and what's to be expected and that type of thing. Food and clothing needs, hygiene supplies, and also, of course, this class, navigation of veterans resources. And then we talk about this talks about the financial literacy course. I would encourage you, we have that class, the financial literacy class, on this coming Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Please join us. We're always sharing some great information on finances to help you move forward, so you're not stuck, paralyzed financially. You know, once you get that knowledge and you understand the language, because finances has their own language, and so I'm going to help you understand that language so that you're not stuck and you can move forward. And then these are some of the other agencies that are connected here in San Antonio, if you're here in San Antonio. But these are some of the agencies that's available to help out with different needs that you might have. Military Veterans Service Center, it talks about the different services that they offer. The Texas Veteran Commissions, and it has their phone number as well. We have Bexar County Veterans Resource Guide, TexVet, and we actually have their website there, but they talk about homelessness, veteran events, transportation, that type of thing. And some of the services are duplicated through other agencies, and that's fine. It's great to have everybody trying to help our veterans move forward. And then Soldiers Angels, they do a monthly food pantry. You also do food.
We provide food, clothes, shoes, and hygiene items. You have to come with a referral, usually from your VSOP or your social worker. We partner with ACOG, we partner with HUD-VASH, SAHA, and so a lot of individuals there, and they send veterans, they refer veterans to us, and we provide those services to them. So the clothes, shoes, food, and hygiene items, those are immediate needs. And so we try to address those first, because if you're thinking about where your next meal is going to come from, you're not worried about anything else. So those are immediate gratification things that we provide. So that's a service that we're super excited to offer there as well.
Yes. And then lastly is the Google VA News. You know, with the internet, there's so much information available, and I think it's important that we keep up with what's going on in the veteran world. And so just Google VA and va.gov, and there's a lot of information news-wise that we can keep up with and stay abreast of what's coming up next. Lastly, I want to talk about one of the veteran I came across. He had this flyer on his table in his home. I was talking to him about finances, but he had this flyer, and I thought it was very beneficial, because it has Ask a Lawyer. This is something that happens every first Wednesday of every month from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the VA hospital, Audie Murphy VA Hospital. Mm-hmm. And it's great because there's different services they can help out with from a legal standpoint, that you don't have to pay anybody, attorney to help out. They'll actually help you for free. It's just a service that they're providing, from government benefits appeals to wills and probates to consumer issues, housing, evictions and foreclosures, driver's license recovery. So there's some very important services that they can offer you as a vet, and possibly your family as well, to help get through those different challenges that you might face from a legal standpoint. And then also I went through as far as my VA disability, I actually went through a company that, actually an agency, I won't call it a company, an agency that helped me with my VA disability compensation. For years, it seemed like I was putting paperwork together, trying to get my VA disability increased, and it wasn't happening in enough time. So I reached out to this agency, and they was able to help me out, get that done. So I encourage you, if you need help with that, there's a website that you can check out and get connected and make that happen. So lastly, I just want to leave my contact information here, my personal contact information, then also the contact information, email address for the Jacqueline Smith Foundation .finances@gmail.com. If you have any questions or concerns, you can contact us anytime. We'd be more than happy to help you out.
Awesome.